Hello, I'm Vonda Adams, a Math Achievement Gap Specialist at the Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. Today, I would like to share some of the Kentucky Academic Math Standards updates for kindergarten and first grade. Let's begin with kindergarten. The first update in the standards is within the counting and cardinality domain. CC.1 involves the inclusion to not only count forwards to 100 by ones, but to also count backwards from 30 by ones. When working on this standard, teachers need to require the students to count backwards from various starting points within the range of 0 to 30. The next update in the standards is within the operations algebraic thinking domain. It involves the addition to OA.3 that students would use objects to demonstrate equality as the balancing of quantities, which supports the teaching model of CCA, concrete, semi-concrete, and abstract. There are several updates to the kindergarten measurement and data domain, starting with the inclusion of the words height, width, and depth to MD.1. MD.3 has added that the objects or people be classified or sorted by attributes, and that they be limited to less than or equal to 10. MD.4 is a new addition to the standards, requiring that students recognize and identify coins by name: penny, nickel, dime, and quarter. Please note that the students are not expected to know the value of each coin at the kindergarten level. The final change was in the geometry domain. In G.5, the word shapes was replaced with the word figures. Now, let's take a look at the updates to the first grade math standards. The number and operations in base 10 domain had one update. MBT.1a requires that the students not only count forward to 120, but also count backwards from any given number less than 120. Please note that the addition of counting backwards to the standard is intended to increase the students' number sense and flexibility with subtraction. The final first grade updates were in the measurement and data domain. MD.3b requires that students identify the coins by value. Please note that the students are not required to count the coins. This is addressed in the second grade standards. MD.4 now requires students to pose a question that can be answered by gathering data to determine strategy for gathering data. Note that there is now more of an emphasis on the purpose of and process of gathering the data instead of just simply interpreting the data. Standards for mathematical practice define how students engage in mathematical thinking. One of the most important updates to the standards is the detailed examples of how the standards for mathematical practices relate to each of the standards. On the screen is an example of the MPs that relate to KY.K.CC.1 count. If you would like to take a further look at the standards, you can do so by visiting the KDE Standards website at kystandards.org or clicking on the direct link provided on the screen.